Good afternoon, everyone. It's my pleasure to start this webinar, Marketing in Pandemic Times. I want to welcome each one of you who is attending in our YouTube channel or in our Facebook page. I want to invite now our two co-hosts to join our broadcast. How are you, Dr. Johnny Farah, today?
Hi, how are you? Hello.
Thank you for joining.
Thank you.
And Daniel, thank you also for joining. How are you?
I'm fine. Good evening.
Thank you so much for co-hosting with me tonight this webinar. Dr. Johnny Farah is one of our marketing professors here at Middle East University in Beirut, in Lebanon. Just for you to know a little bit about him, he is Lebanese, but he got his doctorate degree in the Czech Republic, and he has been serving for 20 years in the academic environment here in Lebanon in different universities, serving as assistant dean of a business school, as head of a marketing department. And he is very much involved in marketing in pandemic time. He was sharing with me that the latest project he has been doing with his students were about marketing during the pandemic and companies switching from brick and mortar to brick and click companies, and the emergence of this trend of click-only companies and the changes in consumer behavior that are going on. And so welcome, Dr. Johnny. It's an honor for us to have you here.
Thank you. My honor as well. Thank you.
And Daniel Beaini is one of the marketing students also here at Middle East University in Beirut. And it's also an honor for you to be with us, for us to have you, Daniel, and to represent the MAU Business Club today.
My honor.
As we do with all our events here at Middle East University, I want to now invite God through a prayer to be with us and to bless us in this event, that we hope it will be a blessing for each one of you who is attending there on the other side of the screen. Let's pray. Father in heaven, thank you for this opportunity to have this webinar. We invite you to be our guest of honor today, that you may lead our minds and our hearts so that we can encourage each other, so we can bring hope for our lives in the midst of the difficult times that we are living in Lebanon, in France, and around the world. We pray these things in the name of Jesus. Amen. The topic for today is marketing in pandemic times. And as you may know, this is one more webinar that Middle East University is doing starting last summer, continuing this fall, and we are having one webinar each month. And I was reading a few statistics today about marketing during the pandemics, and I was surprised to read, for example, that many companies are reducing their spending in traditional marketing strategies and increasing, on the other hand, their digital marketing spending. And this is the topic that Valeria will share with us today. Also, people are increasing their online presence, especially in social media. There is an increase of 39% in use of social media time. Companies are adjusting, according to one study, 70% of companies are adjusting their marketing strategies. 66% are increasing their social media content creation, 57% are increasing their blog content creation, and 50% of companies in one study are increasing their video production. So today we have two distinguished guests that I want to now bring into our live stream. Valeria Yermolenko, welcome. How are you today? Valeria, can you hear us? It seems we have a problem with the connection. And Mr. Said Chamas, how are you from France?
Hello, Dr. Carlos. Thank you so much. I am fine. And you?
Thank you so much for joining us.
It's a pleasure.
From Bordeaux, France, correct?
Exactly, from south of France, exactly.
Great. Thank you so much for joining us. Valeria, can you hear us?
Hello, yes, now I can hear you. There was a little bit of a lack in the connection.
Okay, I was welcoming you. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you for organizing this.
And sure. Before we properly introduce each one of the two panelists, I want to share briefly that they will be addressing two big topics. Valeria first will be sharing with us the impact of the pandemic on entrepreneurs, especially in Lebanon, where she is based, and how they are adapting to unforeseen events, and also how small and medium-sized enterprises can embrace this digital transformation and increase their market positioning through digital marketing. And then secondly, Mr. Said, he will talk about how we can reinvent ourselves during this difficult time. And he will share how he himself reinvented himself through digital marketing and turning this apparent crisis into opportunities. So this will be the topic for today. Now I want to invite Daniel to present Mr. Said and then Dr. Johnny to present Valeria.
Good evening, everyone. I want to present Mr. Said Chamas, who is a YouTuber, public speaker on internations, tour guide, and marketing agent at Cité du Vin Museum in Bordeaux, the city in which he has been living for the last 3 years. Said began his career by studying interior design, and after a few years of working in this field, he took the decision to reinvent himself and move to digital marketing and tourism. The year 2020, with all the crises, was a big opportunity that helped him achieve a lot of his goals. Said Said runs the website and the YouTube channel Wanderer Footsteps.
Welcome, Said. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It's a big pleasure.
Thank you. Before Dr. Johnny introduces Valeria and invite her to present, I want to tell you, everyone who is attending from the other side of the screen, if you are so kind to type here in the comment below from which country you are attending. We want to see how diverse our group of attendees is today, and we want to acknowledge later your presence with us. Dr. Johnny?
Okay. Hello, everybody. I would like to introduce Ms. Valeria Yermolenko. She is graduated from the Middle East University in Beirut in Lebanon with a bachelor degree in business administration. She is specialized in marketing. She is now a certified digital marketing professional, and she holds a research MBA in marketing and management from the Lebanese University. With over 7 years of experience, she is now consulting Lebanese small and mid-sized enterprises on their marketing strategies and empowering entrepreneurs in their digital marketing journey. I would like to ask Ms. Valeria, please, to start her presentation and her precious comments and her precious info about this situation now we are living in Lebanon. Please, you may proceed.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Johnny, for the introduction. I'm going to start by sharing my screen as I prepared a couple of notes, a couple of research topics that I'd like to share with you. So if you can just give me a second to share the screen. Okay. So a little bit more about my background. So I've been working in digital marketing for the last 7 years around that time. And I've worked in various fields that include retail, consumer lending, software development, beauty industry, medical services, and business services in general. And it's without a doubt that this pandemic has flipped the world upside down. And compared to last year's revenue, if your business is struggling to keep up, you are not alone. However, if your business is still up and running, you are better off than hundreds and thousands of businesses that had to shut their doors due to COVID outbreak. And Lebanon's case is even worse due to the currency devaluation, political instability, and the decreasing purchasing power of consumers. However, what we cannot deny is that this pandemic enabled the digitalization. And COVID-19 distancing policies are accelerating the digital transition. And the access to the internet and digital public services are now being seen as essential for dignified living, leaving no one behind. Cities are at the front for it to balance the equality of services, their performances, and accessibility, choice, security, and rights of all citizens. So with the spread of this pandemic, almost all regions have implemented the lockdowns. They have shut doors and shut the doors for the activities that require human gatherings. And even organizations are now switching towards the working from home, and employees are having to adjust to a new normal. And with the emergence of technologies such as Zoom, such as Microsoft Teams, Google Meets, and so many more softwares, this became simpler to work remotely from home. And now, due to the adjustment to the new normal, meetings are now going completely online, and office work is shifting to the home. And there are new patterns at working. And mostly business organizations, they're also changing their business cycles. They are changing the patterns and how they used to work before. And most businesses are now changing also their attitude towards marketing and towards the digital marketing. And one of the biggest mistakes that most businesses are making now is cutting back on their marketing expenses. Marketing gives you an opportunity to shine brighter than the competition. But times have changed. And marketing campaigns that were a hit in 2019 or the pre-pandemic era has now become redundant. Or even we can say that it's now intensive with the post-pandemic period. And in this webinar, I'd like to share with you some marketing tactics and insights that can give your SME from getting lost in oblivion. Now, how many of you are business owners, or how many of you know business owners or entrepreneurs that are now struggling or even thriving in this period? And some of the things that I'd like to share with you to do is, first of all, you should not go off the grid, even in such times. Now, while it's natural probably to stay low-key or get more demotivated and lose your spark under such circumstances, this is going to keep you out of sight, which is not good for your business. And you are no health expert to advise people on the coronavirus outbreak or on that. However, you can probably share how your company or how your organization is implementing social distancing, how it's implementing the hygiene policies, and how can your organization be more or less reliable in such times. And also, even if you are feeling that you are demotivated, this means that you should also probably take this opportunity, because I wouldn't like to call a pandemic an opportunity, because at what cost is it an opportunity? But for the business side, it's also demotivating lots of businesses. So this should mean that knowing when your competition is going out of business means that it's the time for you to strive. And you can also focus on organic growth. And running paid ads on Google requires some capital, especially in fresh dollars, which is a very new term here in Lebanon, and it is short in supply these days. And that does not mean that you cannot reach your prospects in the virtual world. And where every business is calling off their SEO campaigns to save some pennies, this is your chance to double down. And by the time everything returns back to normal, your business will be on the top of the SEO game. And now during the pandemic, you can also reintroduce your brand. And your customers know who you are, but do they know what do you stand for? And consciously or subconsciously, people love to buy from businesses with whom they can connect on a deeper level, on an emotional level. And the best way to trigger emotions is to weave stories around your vision and how you are responding to this pandemic situation situation to reinforce trust with your customers. Now, through this pandemic, you can also establish your employer brand. And by the employer brand, that has to do with talent management and talent acquisition. And with the effect of the pandemic facing the supply chain and getting back to normal, businesses are going into the hiring mode. And you can also leverage your marketing campaigns to communicate your company's culture and encourage like-minded people to work with you. Fun and creative campaigns will show that your company is a cool place to work at, and who doesn't want that? And you can also participate in virtual events such as this one. And people can't gather in auditoriums like they used to because of the restrictions, because of the social distancing policies. But also, there are a lot of webinars and a lot of live sessions that are going on around the world that you can be a part of. And this is a great way to collaborate with other businesses for mutual benefits. You can get connected with potential customers, potential business partners, suppliers, and even like-minded people that can change the way your business works. Now, how can businesses, especially SMEs, benefit from digital marketing? Now, effective digital marketing helps small businesses learn the online habits of customers so they can better target their ideal customers. And they will allow you to create personalized and much targeted marketing campaigns for specific types of people and eventually turn them into buying customers. And now digital marketing helps small businesses build longer lasting customer relationships. Because of the community that you can manage on social media, you can build really profitable and long-lasting retaining, and you can also retain your customer relationships. Through digital marketing as well, you can learn more about your customer needs so you can profitably fulfill them. How can you learn more about your customer needs? You can see what your customers are engaging with on other platforms. You can see probably what are they searching for. You can also ask them those questions openly. And also through digital marketing, small businesses can compete with large businesses. Now, this was something that was kind of unrealistic in the pre-pandemic era. And because of their reliance mostly on the traditional marketing campaigns, which were mass, which were not personalized, which were probably costly, digital marketing is now facilitating this. And you can also target your customers as effectively as large companies are. And that does not necessarily require a huge budget for that. You just have to know how to spend your money wisely on digital marketing. And also, digital marketing is more affordable and it is more effective than traditional marketing. Digital marketing offers a multi-channel approach to boost conversions. So you can convert your customers either through social media, either through Google campaigns, either through your content, and through a lot of even diverse channels that we're going to talk about in the coming slides. Now, also digital marketing offers a real-time customer service. Whenever your customer has a question or an inquiry, or they want to know a little bit more about your product or service, you can respond to them in real time. And this also gives you the possibility to attract the targeted customers. You can build your ideal customer profiles, and you can know which types of customers or who exactly do you want to attract, and you can do that through digital marketing. And finally, as a small and medium enterprise, you can also increase your revenues at minimum costs, because you can also, now the good thing about the digital marketing, something that I actually like, is that digital marketing is highly measurable. And you can actually account how are you spending every single penny and how is every single penny converted. So this is why you can analyze your costs and you can see what is my conversion rate based on that. And in this way, you can make more intelligent decisions. Now, what are the different digital marketing channels that you have as an SME? Now, first of all, you have the content marketing. Now, content marketing is a little bit broad because you can actually place your content everywhere, maybe. Because content marketing, it is the type of content that can engage your customer, that can drive awareness, that can drive consideration for your product or for your service. And it can also retain your customers. Content marketing, an example or a format of content marketing is this webinar. This webinar is pure content. Also, another type of content are blog posts, are your social media posts, That includes your pictures, your visuals, the copy or the captions that you place on social media. That includes also the website images, the website copy, and everything that you place online for people to read, for people to actually interact with. Another digital marketing channel that you have is the email marketing. Now, email marketing is more of a personalized channel that can help you interact directly or one-on-one with your potential customers. Email marketing is usually used at the bottom of the funnel, or at the bottom of the marketing funnel, basically, to increase the retention of your customers. Used a digital marketing channel by SMEs and by individuals also, and it is a tool that can help you increase the awareness of your product. It can also help you increase the conversion that you can have through the messages, or through converting people to the page or to the landing page, wherever you want them to go. And also through social media, you can build a community and you can engage with those audiences. Now, search engine optimization, it is another digital marketing channel that can help you also redirect people to your website whenever they are searching for something, where they are searching for a solution to their problem on search engines such as Google. So organically, that means you're not spending anything at all. You can tweak your keywords, you can tweak your content in a way that it can help the users find you when they are looking for you. Now, paid search is similar to search engine optimization. It's the use of Google ads as well, and probably in the same idea or in the same purpose as search engine optimization, but also with a fee that can help you give proven and that can help you have faster results. And finally, we have the display ads, or that are known as banner ads, or YouTube ads are also a format of a display ad. Is whenever you want to increase the awareness of your product or your service, and you create a very tailored offer, a very interesting offer for your audience, and you want it to be placed on third-party websites. So whenever your audience is browsing actually third-party websites, they can find your offer, and if they like what they see, they're going to click on it and they're going to be redirected to your website. So knowing with the tools that you have, you can benefit from every single tool that is placed in here. You can mix and match. You can benefit from everything just to have your product, your service reach to your targeted audience. And through digital marketing, targeting the right audience is much simpler than it was before. So now I have a question for you. Knowing that you have all of these tools, what are you waiting for? What are you waiting for to actually start your business? What are you waiting for to increase your business, to help your business grow, and to basically how can we probably say it in the right way, to make the impact that you are that you want to have to have this impact. So I'm just checking out a little bit of questions that we have. I think we can go now with the Q&A session.
Okay, thank you so much, Valeria. We are going to move now to the Q&A session. I see that there are already a few questions here on the screen, on the comments for her. Before that, I want to acknowledge the participants that are posting here from which country they are participating, from which country they are joining, as we encouraged them earlier. There are several of you joining from Lebanon, welcome. There are a couple from Argentina, welcome. There is a person joining from India. There is another person joining from Portugal. Several more joining from Lebanon. There is a person joining from Cairo, Egypt. Welcome, welcome everyone. I just want to share with you that during this pandemic, Middle East University, and specifically the Department of Business Administration and Middle East University, went through this process of switching to digital, the digital platforms. And during this pandemic, we have created our YouTube channel, our Facebook page, Instagram page, and LinkedIn page. And so I want to encourage you, as you are joining our webinar tonight, to subscribe to our channel, to like our pages, so you can be notified of upcoming webinars and events that we hope will be useful as this one tonight. Now, Dr. Johnny, what question do you want to bring from the audience to Valeria?
Thank you, Ms. Valeria, for the nice presentation and for the detailed presentation. Thank you. I have a couple of questions from Carl. He's asking how much should we learn about digital marketing per day so to master it? How much should we put effort on digital marketing so we can master this field?
Well, you cannot practically master anything. This is one thing that let's start with. No one is perfect in anything that they do. You can become better every day, but you cannot master it. Now, this is a little bit philosophical. Now, let's actually answer it from a practical side. Yes. How much do you learn digital marketing per day? How much time do you have that you are willing to invest on learning? Now, I've been working in digital marketing for like 7 years now, and I think that the knowledge never stops. So with the time that I had to pursue my education in marketing and in digital marketing, it helped me actually have a boost to start implementing this knowledge that I have. But let's say that you are working or that you are coming from a different field, that you are a non-business field or a non-marketing field. How much could you start learning? Let's say if you can start watching videos daily, if you can start reading articles daily. We're talking about hours, we're talking about consistent work. And this is the most important thing, is that to know how to implement this knowledge and this education that you're getting into practice. Because once you learn it, this is one thing. Once you have this idea that you know or that you're familiar with is one thing. But you can actually learn it when you start practicing. So once you can start practicing, you can get you can volunteer in some projects, you can start a freelancing, you can get an internship. This is where you can be basing your, or you can be applying your education that you've gathered, and this is where the real learning comes from.
So in the meantime, as Khachig, one of our audience, for example, is asking, if we cannot manage it, shall we depend on freelancers?
Okay. Should you depend on freelancers? Now this is something that has to be. I can't probably objectively answer, because I'm a freelancer as well to some of the companies. But what can help you make this decision? If you are having a very intensive project that you are preparing to launch, or if you are having, for example, this interesting idea that requires a lot of effort, and you are going to help, you're going to need the help from other people. You cannot work on everything alone, that's for sure. Even as a marketer, it's always better to have someone that you can delegate to, that you can work with. This can help you actually get better results. Pay for someone. Is it more convenient to pay a professional? Yes, but that does not mean that you should not learn digital marketing if you're as well, because that would actually help you be aligned on what is going on. It can help you have understand the insights of the job of the freelancer. And yes, it is always better to have a professional working on something, and the professional that is knowing what they're doing.
Okay.
So I have to say this.
Okay. One more question, if I can ask. Shriyansh Pete, she's asking, she's asking, what challenges do I have if I am coming from a non-marketing background? Do I have to be knowledgeable in marketing or not?
Well, it helps. I cannot deny this. It helps, and it can, because basically it's digital marketing is within the umbrella of marketing, so it's like a subset. So it helps to know the basics of marketing. It helps to know the whole the foundations and the ground rules of marketing, and it can help you develop your knowledge, and it can help you understand the concepts better. Because me coming from a marketing background, from the bachelor degree that I have from Middle East University, it helped me a lot understand how to deal with customers. It helped me a lot understand how to probably communicate with the customer and have a customer-centric approach whenever we are dealing with this. It also helps a lot to come from a business background. But I cannot say that if you are not a marketing graduate that you cannot pursue a digital marketing career. That wouldn't be fair, because I know so many talented, so many really excellent and brilliant digital marketers that did not even have a degree that is even remotely close to marketing. So that's a matter of how much you are willing to invest in your efforts, and it's how much you're willing to learn more, and probably develop yourself even more. Now, as a summary, yes, it would help, but this is not a barrier.
Okay. Dr. Beer, do I have still? Can I ask another question, please?
Yes, we have time.
Okay. What are the marketing trends after COVID-19? Are there any?
After COVID-19, are there any? I think everything now has become a marketing trend. Now, let's say social media was used a lot before, but how was it used? Let's say, like, okay, we've had those channels before, and we have those channels now to date. But the usage of those channels and how you are implementing those channels, and probably even more, that what we can say is that the marketing trend is the webinar. This is something actually new, because before the pandemic, we had physical seminars. The terminology webinar wasn't that wide used. So this is one thing. Another thing is the usage of the widespread of video content, of a lot of people that are interacting based on the video content, and there were a lot of also new social media channels that were emerged during the pandemic, and this also helped a lot of sharing a message in a short video in an entertaining way. So, for example, such as the videos that we have on TikTok, and even this format of TikTok, it is now used very, very prominently on Instagram, on Snapchat, on even on YouTube. So those are little trends that we've had, and everything basically is changing. The usage of everything is changing.
Okay. One more question.
Yes.
Has COVID-19 changed marketing forever, or is it just a period and it will end?
I don't think we're going to go back to where we were before. Before, we used to rely a lot on traditional marketing, a lot on billboard ads, TV ads, print media. There was a lot of this dependency on those tools. But now, after the digital marketing transition, and after the emergence of digital marketing, I doubt that someone will be investing their money into printing those brochures, into paying so much money for the billboards, knowing that they've had those benefits, and whenever they've had those benefits of dealing with the digital marketing platforms, I doubt that someone would like to go back, because you're reaching out to a targeted audience, so your marketing efforts are more effective. So whenever you're also reaching out to you're able to send your message in a very personalized way to your audience. You can now have a lot of opportunities, and you can go to new markets in a way that has never been that fast before. Now, now I would like to answer to this question and go back to the previous question about the marketing trends. Working from home and working remotely gave a lot of opportunities to talented people to expand their revenue streams, to increase, to diversify their revenue streams, basically, and have a new way of dealing. So whenever you are, so let's say that you are a talented professional, regardless of the field. Let's say that you are a good architect, for example. Whenever you have your laptop and whenever you are doing a good job, you can showcase this job using digital marketing tools. You can share your portfolio. You can start communicating with potential customers. You can start closing deals. Not obliged to travel. You're not obliged to have to spend so much time on those transportation, on those commutes, and you can have even probably interesting projects that were not that were not possible before.
Okay. Another question, please. So talking about marketing trends after the COVID-19, so then we are talking about its impact on consumer behavior and marketing strategies in this concern.
Yeah.
So what about consumer behavior? How will it be affected during and after the COVID-19?
Okay. So let's okay, in terms of consumer behaviors, I'd like to talk a little bit more about the consumer buying patterns.
Yeah.
So how would they buy? Let's say that before the pandemic, let me give you an example of buying, for example, a mobile phone, a mobile device before the pandemic. Of the example, what would make you, or let's say even mobile accessories. Let's take an even simpler scenario. What would make you actually go buy before? You would have to get out of your house. You'd have to go to the nearest mobile store. And that would only happen if you are really wanting to do that. Whenever you have this high intention of buying, for example, a mobile case. Once you have this intention, you would go to this mobile phone store and you would search and you would start going from one store to another one and comparing the different offerings that you have, and then you would make your decision. Now with the digital marketing facilities that we have, it is now very easy for the stores to reach their audiences. So let's say we are browsing on Facebook or we're browsing on Instagram, and finally we see this, and suddenly we see this pop-up ad of the mobile phones case, and this ad was shown to us because we've previously were looking for mobile cases, for mobile devices online. So this means that we are within the target market of this store. And okay, this is better. And within one click only, we can actually click on the button and the product will be delivered to us. So how did the consumer change? First of all, the buying cycle became shorter. Probably the buyer's journey became faster. It is now very easier to reach for the store or for the seller to reach to the purchase stage, because we are passing through the different stages, through the awareness, through the engagement, through the consideration, then moving to the conversion phase in a much faster way, because more ads are showing, because more probably people are becoming more used to buying online.
Our recommendations for some companies during and even when COVID-19 will be behind us, our recommendations were to adapt to e-marketing. Do we have typical examples in Lebanon about businesses who failed to adapt?
Yes, businesses that failed to adapt. Now, I wouldn't blame actually the whole thing for now. Because they weren't using marketing. Now businesses closed. There are a lot of reasons for that to happen. I wouldn't say that just because they didn't use digital marketing, so this is why they closed. This is not a reasonable, actually. This is not a reasonable analysis for that. However, there were a lot of businesses that could have benefited a little bit more from digital marketing. To name a few, I cannot just recall that, they're not on the top of my mind right now, but we can see that businesses, for example, clothing stores, now there are a lot of things that are impacting the clothing stores, for example, that were the imports, that are the payment facilities, payment methods to pay the suppliers in dollars. Those are things that are affecting. But how many other clothing stores opened just because they started to work online and to sell using social media channels? They started building their own websites, and noting that they've had probably the same restrictions to that, they turned this threat into an opportunity, or they turned this weakness into an opportunity, and they became even more scalable, if this is the right, or probably even more successful.
Okay.
So yes, digital marketing does play a part in this continuity, but it's all a matter of how you can use it and how practically can you build it. Because I can see also from the comments that what we're talking about a little bit more under is like from the comment of Joyce, that we are on a survival mode, and that's true. That is actually very true. And all of the solutions would remain under the theory section. This is somehow that I would like to not disagree with, because possibly this theoretical part that we're discussing, it can be converted into the practical method. And just knowing what are the different options that you have, and knowing like you can benefit from all of these solutions, what would be the next step to actually start applying them?
So another question by Dan. He was asking to what extent did traditional marketing methods were negatively affected by digital marketing?
Traditional marketing methods, first of all, became outdated, not even after the pandemic, and even they became outdated a little bit earlier. People from a couple of years back, they were no longer interested in having their ads placed on billboards, on TVs, because of the ineffectiveness and because of the really large required budget. Like, for example, running a TV ad on prime time or having a billboard campaign would cost the business, for example, $10,000. And that is only targeting one offer, not having targeted audiences, and does not necessarily guarantee effectiveness, and cannot also guarantee you cannot measure the conversion that was that happened after this campaign. So some businesses, they realized that, okay, now let's start working a little bit more on the digital marketing campaigns. And if we can compare the $10,000 that we put on billboards, that was only one channel, but we can compare it with $10,000. Can you imagine what you can do with $10,000, for example, on social media ads, or social media, or on all, for example, on all digital platforms that we have? Basically, some businesses are having a cost per click or a cost per conversion around $1. So with those metrics that you have, can you imagine the impact that this investment can do on your business? So yes, traditional marketing was impacted negatively, because people are no longer finding it helpful or no longer finding it effective.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Valeria.
Thank you for everyone for participating, for your questions.
Maybe you can
for this presentation.
There is a question there from Carl that you can answer, type in the answer if you have any recommendation for any book for internet marketing.
Sure, definitely.
Okay, Daniel.
Okay, so now we will have Saeed Shammas present, and hopefully we can learn from him. And if anyone has any question, go ahead and ask it. We want to learn as much as we can. Go ahead, Dr. Saeed. Good evening. We cannot hear you. I cannot.
Yeah, now you can hear me?
Yes.
Thank you so much, Danielle. So I'm gonna begin by sharing my screen. 1 second. So first of all, I would like to thank a lot Ms. Valeria for all the great tips she has given us. I studied digital marketing. I don't have a really background in digital marketing, but all the tips she had given us are very amazing and very nice. So thank you so much. And also thank you so much for Dr. Carlos, Dr. Johnny, and also for Danielle for organizing this amazing event and for giving me this opportunity to telling my story. So just to tell you a little bit of my background. So basically, I'm now connecting from Bordeaux in south of France. I've been living in France for about 3 years and a half now. I came to Bordeaux to study, as you see here, a master's in digital marketing and e-commerce. And now I'm working as a tour guide in Bordeaux. I'm also a blogger and a YouTuber, and I'm also a public speaker on Internations. If you don't know what Internations is, it's like a huge international community all over the world. You can go on internations.org and open an account. There's a huge community in Beirut also, where they organize lots of types of events where you can meet local and international people, communicate with them. And now they moved to international, to online events, where I have been doing lots of speaking, lots of online events for about 4 to 5 months. And my main job in Bordeaux is I work in the marketing department of what is called the Cité du Vin, which is like the wine city. It's a huge wine museum in Bordeaux. So this was just a little bit about myself. And concerning my presentation today, even though I did studies in digital marketing, I'm not gonna be really going into digital marketing in my presentation. Today, what I want to do is to share with you a story that happened with me, a story that changed the way I see life, a story that changed my path in life. In a way, it made me reinvent myself to find really the things that I love and to search and to work to getting the things I love and to change my life completely. So basically, the questions I'll be mainly answering are how to take advantage of difficult times, such as the pandemic, and turn them into opportunities, and also how we can reinvent ourselves and move forward. So basically, I'm going to be telling you, I'm going to be giving you a general approach and then be telling you about my story. Hopefully, it might inspire you, it might motivate you if you want to really search and go for what you really love to be doing in your life. So having said all this, let's begin. I have always believed, I'm a firm believer that everything that happens in life can be seen in a positive or in a negative way. I know there are lots of things that happen that are very difficult, but I think everything can be considered as an opportunity. And this is why I put this quote here where I wrote, history has repeatedly shown that crises drive innovation. When we are in deep crisis, in difficult moments, this is where we try to innovate, we try to create new solutions, try to create new ways to get out of our crisis, to get out of our difficult time. And while thinking of getting out, this is where we begin to innovate and to reinvent ourselves. And this is what happened with me, where I considered the pandemic as an opportunity. And from everything I saw, I talked to many people, life coaches, and many people. I found out that during the pandemic, the first thing that most of humanity had got to do is to take a break. We were living in a world where it's a very rapid world. There's lots of rush. We didn't even have time for ourselves. However, during the pandemic, we all at some point took a pause, took a break in order to just look around us and see where we have become. In addition to all this, while taking this break, it gave us time to reflect on everything we accomplished in our lives before, and also where we are now, and is this the path we want to continue on or not. And I'm telling you this from personal experience that happened with me. I'll tell you more about it in a bit. And when you take your time to take a break, to reflect on your life completely, this is where you begin to take decisions that could be either that you are comfortable where you are and it's perfect for you, you continue going where you are, or you say to yourself, let's say, I'm not happy where I am, or I can be happier in another place, so I want to change myself, I want to reinvent myself, to learn new skills in order to take advantage of this time to create something new for myself. And this is how I say that the pandemic, in a way, it altered the way we live, and it also made us embrace new ways of communications, especially the digital ways of communications. Now, everywhere in the world, we are like, if you see, we spent lots of time at home, especially during the lockdown, where we're always in front of our mobile phones or in front of our laptops, either on Facebook, either on TikTok, either on lots of other different social media platforms. So all these together, pausing, reflecting, taking decisions, this is how, in order to get out of the crisis, in order to adapt to the crisis, we begin innovating and getting new ideas. And when I talk about innovating, it's not only innovating on a personal level, it's also innovating on an enterprise and companies level. I know where I work at Cité du Vin, how the whole company was innovating in a way so that all employees can still work, but from their homes, can work part-time jobs. It's like they created a new way of working that is suitable for everyone. So this is why I say that this pandemic was really, or it gave us the opportunity to innovate and to create new ideas, should it be on a company's level, but also on a personal level, just as what happened with me. And the most important thing I think the pandemic gave all of us was time. Time, because as I said before, we're living in a world that it was all in a rush. We all had dreams to accomplish. We all had movies to see, books to read, stuff to do, talk with old friends. We didn't have time to do that. But the pandemic gave us the time we needed to really reflect on our lives and to choose if we want to continue with the way we are going or to choose another way. Here I put this quote that you can either be cozy or you can fly. Basically, 2 weeks ago, I participated in a webinar with Bob Proctor. I don't know if you know who Bob Proctor is. Basically, he's the guy who wrote like half of the book of The Secret, who talks about the law of attraction. And I can tell you he is one of my mentors in life, in my spiritual journey, in all my path since 12 years until today, because it has been a long journey. So reinventing ourselves is always about learning something new, changing our mindset, and also discovering new potentials within ourselves. Usually it can come from being in a comfortable position and we decide that we want something that makes us happier. We want to search for new things in our life, or having a major shift, such as the pandemic, that forces us in a way to take a new path in life. And this is how these two things can get us into reinventing ourselves, into learning new skills in order, first of all, and this is something I believe in, and it's something not because I read it in a book, it's from personal experience. When I was reinventing myself, I'm going to be telling you about it in a bit, you can find hidden powers within yourself that you didn't know existed in the past. In addition to all this, you will push yourself to the full potential, because the more you will discover how powerful you are, how good you can adapt to new situations, how proud you are of yourself for searching something new, for seeking new things in your life. This is what will get you to more and more potentials in your life, and moreover, leaving your comfort zone. And I think many of you know this quote that says, life begins at the end of our comfort zone. We can always stay comfortable where we are. However, it is only when we leave our comfort zone, this is where we can really find our full potential. I know it's not easy. It's always easier said than done. But I'm a firm believer that all it takes is one leap of faith. And this is what happened in my life. To just say, I trust myself. I trust that everything will go all right. I have the potential for it. And everything will work all right. So this is why I put all it takes is a leap of faith. Just you take the first step, and this is where many doors and many opportunities will open for you. And we are living in a digital world now. So for me, it's very easy to just test, to learn, and to test again. You know, I can tell you, now I'll tell you in a bit also for my blog, for example, I created lots of Instagram accounts. I created lots of TikTok accounts. We are living in a digital world where you can just create an account, test it. If it fails, you just delete it and you create another one. If I show you the number of accounts I created and then I deleted, you cannot even imagine. I was just testing which one would work better, which name would work better, and this is something really amazing in this digital world we are living in. So now to tell you more really about what happened with me and how I reinvented myself. So as Danielle introduced me before, basically I studied to be an interior designer back in 2010, like it was 12 years ago. I was back in Lebanon. I even came to France to study interior design, and I worked in this field for a few years in Lebanon. However, at some point, I felt that there was something missing in my life. I love to meet international people, to organize events, all these kinds of stuff. And this is where, in 2014, I met the couch surfing community in Lebanon. I'm not sure if you know the couch surfing community. It's also like Internations, where there are lots of events happening where tourists come to a certain country and they meet people from locals from this country. So this is where I began going to the couch surfing meetings in Beirut, meeting lots of amazing people, travelers, solo travelers. And at some point, I became the organizer of couch surfing meetings in Beirut. So for 2 years, between 2015 and 2017, I was the organizer of couch surfing events in Beirut. And since I love to meet lots of people, I began doing guided tours for free in Beirut just to gain experience, because this is where I began to think perhaps interior design is not for me, or perhaps at that moment it was not for me. I want something more. I want something where I communicate more with people, where I travel. And this is where I began doing these guided tours in Beirut completely for free. And in 2018, it was the big change. I decided to leave everything behind, and I came to Bordeaux, where I studied digital marketing at the INSEC Business School, digital marketing and tourism. As I told you, I did not have any background in digital marketing. So basically, I had to study for a full year in Lebanon. I took online courses, for example, on Udemy. I watched videos on YouTube. I bought some books about marketing to prepare myself for this master's that I'm going to do in Bordeaux. And when I arrived to Bordeaux, here I had some of the biggest opportunities in my life. So I studied digital marketing. And when I finished my studies, the things I used to do in Lebanon for free, I began doing them I began being paid to do them. For example, I did an internship in a place in Bordeaux called Darwin Ecosystem, where I was the guide of this ecosystem. For about 10 months, I used to give guided tours for all the people, for all the tourists that used to come there, should be French or foreigners. In addition, I was a marketing agent there. So they had a website, they had social media platforms. So I was working in marketing, and also I was working in the tourism business, which for me was really an amazing opportunity. Moreover, when I finished my internship, I began looking for a job, and this is where I got a really great opportunity also in Bordeaux, the Cité du Vin, the building that you see just here in front of you, which is basically the Eiffel Tower in Paris, for example. Cité du Vin can be referred to as the Eiffel Tower in a way of Bordeaux, because it's like the biggest touristic landmark of Bordeaux and the whole area where Bordeaux is, because as you know, Bordeaux is very well known for wine. And this is where I got a job at Cité du Vin as in the marketing and commercial department. And I also do some guided tours from time to time. So at this point in my life, I was really happy with all the reinvention I gave to myself. I passed from interior design to studying digital marketing to working in tourism and also in digital marketing. However, I always felt something was still missing. I always wanted to go on public speaking, to publish videos. I didn't only want to have my blog, because I have my blog, a website where I write articles. I wanted to launch my YouTube channel for many months, and I really didn't have time to do this until the pandemic hit. And this is where we went into lockdown. And as I told you, it gave me the time that I needed to create what I wanted. I remember when at Cité du Vin, they told us the museum is gonna close for many months. And this is where I thought to myself during the meeting, this is my opportunity. This is the time I needed to continue creating what I want to create. And this is how, as I wrote here, it gave me the most precious of gifts, because we are always seeking more and more time in our lives. I launched my YouTube channel, and I can tell you I'm someone who had no idea about editing. So as I learned all about digital marketing, I went online, I took courses about editing. You can find everything on YouTube for free. I took courses about editing, about which camera to use, about which microphone, all these basic information. And this is how last March, in the first lockdown here in France, I launched my YouTube channel, and today it has about 65 videos where I talk about different subjects, about my experiences in life. Should it be tourism, should it be spirituality, should it be book review, should it be life lessons and different stuff. In addition to all this, in January, I accomplished the biggest thing I've always wanted to accomplish, which is launching my public speaking events on Internations. So as I told you, Internations, this is a community where we used to organize events for international people. But since the lockdown, they began organizing online events where people from all over the world could attend. And here I show you just a screenshot of the list of the online events where I was a speaker, where I talked about different subjects. I began doing these the events in January, and I think I've done like 25 or 26 public speaking events until today. So this is something that I'm so happy that I did, and I think in a way the pandemic gave me the time to really know what I love doing in life, and to do what I love doing in life, to give me the time to create the YouTube channel, gave me the time to take the lessons that I needed, to have the skills that I needed in order to progress myself, in order to reinvent myself. And this is something for me that was really amazing. And this is where I want to tell you, it's really important nowadays. Everyone is on social media, or in a way, everyone is online. The online presence and online communities are so important. Just to show you, this is a screenshot of one of the events that I did 2 weeks ago, where I was talking about my story of reinventing, just as I'm doing now. However, this event, I talked for an hour and 15 minutes approximately. I took in really big details, and the whole presentation is on my YouTube channel. You can check it out if you want more details about my reinvention journey. But just to show you, there were people from about 40 countries joining, 86 people from 40 countries. So just to tell you the importance of online presence, of embracing online presence and online communities, because you don't know who you're going to meet. You are sitting on your laptop, in front of your laptop, and at the same time connecting with people from all over the world. And this is something that is so important, that before the pandemic was not very well known as it is known now. The most beautiful things you can do from these communities, from the events, are the friendships you can get, the contacts, the experience, and also the new opportunities. Because through these events, I got to meet amazing people with whom I did interviews on my YouTube channel, such as poets from the USA, such as Henya, who is with us today. I think she's watching this presentation also, who has the art of travel. So basically, you get to meet lots of people who will give you more content, and from whom you will gain lots of experience. This is why I wanted to really talk about the importance of this online presence and online communities. And I can tell you something very important, that even with the lockdown easing up in all the countries, I think online communities and online event have become part of the new normal that we should embrace. So if I want to end up in a way my presentation, I still have 2 slides. First of all, every difficult situation you might pass in can be considered as an opportunity. I know it's not as easy as it is said, but I'm a big believer that there's something behind everything that happens in this world. It's just from where we decide to look at it, and as I told you, the pandemic, it was really gave us the time. For me, it gave me the time to launch my projects, but I think every person has the time to launch anything he or she was dreaming about. Moreover, as I said before, always stay online, test and keep testing, as I did, because I went on TikTok like 2 weeks ago. I wanted to, in addition to my site, in addition to my Instagram channel, in addition to my YouTube, I wanted to go on TikTok. And I can tell you, I created like 6 or 7 TikTok accounts until now that I deleted and then created again. I was just testing and trying and failing and learning and testing again. This is how it goes. We're living in digital world. And this is something that is very easy to do nowadays. Moreover, as I said before, online communities are now part of the new normal, benefit from them. There are lots of websites out there where you can either share your experience, where you can learn, where you can get some skills. Should it be on Internation, should it be on TikTok, should it be Meetup, should it be Clubhouse, for example. I think you've heard of Clubhouse, this new application that is that was created like I think a few months ago and now is present everywhere. So just to tell you, embrace the online presence, go online, meet people, because you never know who you're going to meet. I'm not going into details, but I met people in the most unexpected of ways, and these people helped me reinvent myself, helped me achieve what I want in life, and there were people literally from all corners of the globe. So this is really the advice I want to give you today. And in addition to all this, one last advice to give you, which is a personal one that has nothing to do with business or marketing, which is, I forgot actually about this part. When we least expect it, life sets us a challenge to test our courage and willingness to change. This is a quote from Paulo Coelho. It talks about how every difficult time can be considered as a challenge in order to progress and to advance in life. And the last advice, the personal advice I want to give you, is don't burn yourself out. It's a personal thing that has nothing to do with marketing or business. It's from personal experience, because at some point, I was so happy publishing YouTube videos that I wanted to publish 2, then 3, then 4 YouTube videos every week. So at some point in my life, I used to stay awake until 2 and 3 in the morning, just writing scripts for the next videos. So what happened is that I didn't have time to see my friends anymore. I lost weight. My health was not good. And then I looked at myself and I thought, like, what's the point of losing health, of losing my friends, just to publish more videos on YouTube? So this is just from personal experience to tell you all, whichever is your project in life, nothing, and I mean nothing in life, is worth your health, your family, and your friends. So don't burn yourself out. Just put in your mindset that you are going to achieve what you want to achieve, and you will go there. And one last thing, this is a life coach here in Bordeaux who with whom I work on so many projects. He gave me this quote: "Life is what happens to you when you are busy making plans." So basically, you might be having the biggest plans in your life, planning a huge project, doing everything for it to work, and at the end, it might not work, and it's okay. You know, some things in life are just not meant to be. No matter how hard you work, they just don't work. It's okay. You can just move on and search for something else. So this was my presentation today. It's a very small one, as I told you, because my reinvention journey had lots of details in it that I cannot put all in this 20 minutes presentation. But what I want, if you want any information, any advice, or anything else, let us stay in touch. You can find me on Facebook, on my Instagram account, anywhere. I would love to stay in touch with you. If any of you have any question, any advice that anything that you need advice about, I would love to help you and to give you information from my personal life. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Said. Now we will have a Q&A session, and we are waiting for your questions, everyone. First, I will start with a personal question for Mr. Said.
Yes.
Usually as a teenager, I know how hard it is to choose a path in life, especially at our age. Mm-hmm. So usually students go ahead and study in university and take a bachelor degree, and in the end they feel that it's not really what they want, it's not really their path. And most of the people, as I personally know, they just say, okay, it's where I am, it's who I am now, and I have to live like what I studied, that's yes. That's my future. Mm-hmm. So first of all, what do you advise these people that are thinking this way, and what is the hardest thing to cope with when you are changing, when you are reinventing yourself, as you named it?
Yes. So first of all, Daniel, it's a very great question, because I think at 18 years old, when you are all going to university, I think no one really knows what he or she wants to do in life. So it comes after. I did interior design, you know. I studied it for 3 years in Lebanon, and 2 years in Paris, and I worked in it for many years, even though I had this idea that it's not the thing for me, but I wasn't sure about what is really the thing for me in life. It's very normal. But at some point, you will feel that life is taking you somewhere else. You will feel that you can be happy elsewhere. And this is where you can begin. I'm not saying you can just take a plane and travel to a whole new country like I did. You can begin taking online courses, watching videos on YouTube about the things that you like, about how you can turn them into opportunities to be a job, to gain money from them, you know. And this is how you can begin really deciding on the next path of your life. But just tell you, it's a very bad idea to say that this is where I am, this is what I studied, and this is what I'm going to be for all my life. I studied interior design, then I studied digital marketing. Like for now, I tell you, even the digital marketing I studied, I'm not even working in it anymore. I'm working more in tourism. So I did two diplomas that I just left, and I'm working in a third thing. You know, you just have, in my opinion, to have faith in yourself, and you will reach what you want. And for the second part of the question, what is the hardest thing, is taking the first step, in my opinion. Like for me, when I decided to go to Bordeaux in 2018, like I was working in interior design in Lebanon. I was really good in interior design, and I always had these things in mind, like, what if I go and it doesn't work out? Can I go back to Lebanon? You see, we all have these questions because nothing is planned. We don't know how it's going to go. But this is where I talked about the leap of faith. You just have to. Each one of us believes in God or in anything you want, you know, to have just this leap of faith, to have this trust that everything's going to go fine. And I can tell you, when you take the first step, that's it. Everything's gonna go fine after that.
Thank you for sharing.
Pleasure.
We have a question from Maria Mahmoud. It's been lovely hearing all about your experiences. How do you cope with all the negative comments in your head that stop you from taking the leap of faith?
Thank you, Maria, for the question. It's not easy. It's not easy, you know. Sometimes it's, as I said, many nights I remember before traveling to Bordeaux, especially the last days before leaving Lebanon, I didn't sleep at night because I used to wake up at night just thinking, is it the right decision I'm doing to leave everything, all the things I accomplished to do something new? Is it? It's not easy, but I think, how do you say it? Life is all about risk, and this is what you were saying, Danielle, just before. You know, we're talking before the live began. Is that at some point you just have to take risks in life, and life is beautiful with the risks. You know, you can always stay in your comfort zone where you are, that everything is good, and everything will continue to be fine. However, you will miss all the beautiful things that life has in store for you in the next pages of your life if you don't take this risk. I think it's all about just trust in whatever you believe in, and trust in yourself.
Thank you, Mr. Said. Another question from Nyasha Madakiwe. Okay. In your experience, what are the common challenges small organizations face while changing from traditional to digital marketing?
So basically, just to tell you, so I have always been, when I studied marketing, I studied digital marketing more. You know, I went straight into digital marketing. I don't really have a background in marketing. However, so traditional marketing is not something I ever worked with, because where we work at Ceduvin, we always work with digital marketing. But I think it's the idea, as I said before, digital marketing gives us more space to test, and more opportunities to really reach the clients that we want. You know, so I don't take it as a challenge, because I don't think traditional marketing gives us all the, let's say, all the benefits that digital marketing gives us. You know, I'm just gonna answer like this because since I don't really have a background in marketing, I prefer not to elaborate more on this. But I hope the answer was enough for Nyasha.
Thank you, Mr. Said. Okay, do we have any more questions? We will wait a few minutes, a few seconds. Meanwhile, I can ask you a question.
Yeah, sure.
How was your community, your friends, and your family reacting to your sudden change? Was it sudden, really, or was it more you were telling them that you wanted to change? How did they? What was their feedback, their reaction? And after you really excelled in digital marketing and all of that of this, how did their how they perceive you really change?
Actually, I understand that especially parents are always, they always want to take care of their children. So I understand that when I decided that to begin changing my career, my parents were, it's not they were against it, but they were afraid for me, you know, and it's something I completely understand. But it's not something that was really sudden, because as I told you, I began organizing lots of events in Lebanon with couch surfing. So I began taking a different path from interior design that took a few years. And when I decided to change completely, my parents were afraid, but they trusted me anyway. And what happened is that now that I accomplished everything that I accomplished, they are really proud of what I did, and they know that it was the right decision to do. Because the things that people don't usually see, what you are seeing inside yourself, what you are feeling inside yourself, you know. And this is something you should explain to people, that you have this fire within yourself that you want to change. People do not see this fire, but they will see the results.
It's hard to make others see your vision.
Exactly. But the thing is that what they will see is that after a few months or after a few years, they will see your results, and they will see why you did it, and that you were right for doing this.
Yes. Thank you,
That's
Mr. Said.
It was a big pleasure.
Dr. Johnny, I think you have a question also for Said.
Yes, I have a question.
Yeah.
We were talking. Yes, we are optimistic, and that we have to be as such. We have to be optimistic. So during the COVID-19, we were all present at home. That to be that optimistic person, what should we focus on in our personality so that to continue and to keep on going?
To tell you, Dr. Johnny, actually, so basically, it's not something I learned just in the pandemic. It's a journey that started 12 years ago, because I had a medical condition from which I learned about gratitude and stuff. It's a very long journey. This is how I arrived where I am today. But I think the most important thing is gratitude, you know, because just to look at what was happening in other people's lives, and to see that at least we have something to be grateful for, you know. Like I see, for example, I was in France. I was grateful that even though I was at home, not working, I had my salary every month at the end of the month. You know what I mean? I had food to eat. So even though I couldn't go to a restaurant, I couldn't go to a bar, I had food to eat here. I could talk to my parents in Lebanon. So when we really make a list of everything we are grateful for, this is where we can really find happiness in our life. This is something I lived, because us human beings, usually it's we forget the things we are grateful for, and we always concentrate on what we lack and what we don't have in life. But if we list everything we have, you can be surprised by everything you can be grateful for.
You think that because you are in France and not in Lebanon, you are that optimistic? Is it one of the reasons?
No, actually, because it started with me when I was in Lebanon, you know.
Okay.
It started with me when I was in Lebanon, and I was talking about it in Lebanon many times to my family and to my friends, you know. To be honest, it started with me when I was in France, because I was in France 10 years ago. Then I moved to Lebanon for 5 years. Then I came back to Bordeaux. I learned this in France, but in Lebanon for 5 years, and I went through many difficult situations. I applied all this in my life. I was a firm believer in this.
So optimism has no limits regardless of geographic location.
No, actually, happiness comes from within, you know.
Okay.
Now we are reaching the end of the webinar, so I want to encourage the participants, the attendees, to type here in the comments below any final question that you would like to address to either Mr. Said or Miss Valeria. I have a question for Valeria. One of the things you mentioned in your presentation was that we need to engage our customers in social media and through digital marketing, in your experience, which is the best way to do that engagement? Is it through a question that you ask? Is it through collecting some data from them, through a small video, a good picture? What's the best way to engage with customers? Your microphone is muted.
Basically, it has to do with the industry that you are operating in. But more like just to understand the nature of the engaging content that we're discussing. Mostly, consumers interact more with video content. And video content is known to be fun. It's known to be, but we're not saying fun is in a necessarily way or necessarily to be funny or just entertaining. It could be fun even to know for an educational purpose and an inspiring purpose. So try to optimize a little bit more of using videos. And whenever someone is reaching out for a question, for a comment, just be consistent in your responses and respond as soon as possible. And you can also benefit from this is when we're talking about the organic engagement. We can also ask our customers. It is never wrong to ask them questions, to administer some surveys, to know what kind of content do they find engaging. And we can also see like what are other companies doing to interact with their customers. How are they engaging their audience? And finally, if you have this budget that you would like to spare for some ads, you can also boost your campaigns, and you have different boost your posts or administer some campaigns, and you have different objectives for your campaigns, and one of them is the engagement. And if your content by itself is engaging, if it by itself it has this nature of letting people of allowing more people to share this content, or something that is actually valuable to your audience, something that they can interact with, this will give you the success. But once you know what your audience is engaging to, you can ask them.
Thank you. Yes. And I have a question for Saeed. You mentioned that you recently created several social media accounts to evaluate which one was going to work better, and then you deleted those that didn't work. I guess this is for an individual. So my question is, for a small company, for a startup, or for an NGO who is trying to grow an audience in social media, do you advise also them to cancel their accounts when they are not working and create new ones? Or what's the best strategy for them?
No, I don't think. I mean, for me, they were really accounts that I created because I was testing. You know, they weren't really the accounts related to my blog or to my YouTube channel. I wanted to test, and the test that I did a TikTok channel in French, for example. I thought, all my content is in English. Why not try something in French, for example? And at some point, I changed the content of my TikTok because it's something that I didn't have before. And I decided to start something new on TikTok, and this is why I tried different themes and different content that I deleted and I changed many times. However, when someone already has a page, when someone already has a YouTube channel or anything like this, I think how do you say it? Unless they really want to completely change their content, to completely change the people, their audience, they can change this. And this is something from a life coach that I met, who he had for 12 years a website and a channel where he used to talk to people with millions of followers. And at some point he deleted everything. And now he created a new website and he's starting all over again because he decided he wanted something new in his life. And I asked him the question, how can you just delete? You had millions of followers. He told me at some point you have to accept that it's finished, it's ended, and something new should start. And now this is what he did. He had literally millions of followers, and now he deleted everything and he's starting he's like 55 years old. He's starting all over again with a new channel, with a new project.
I think this goes in line what you mentioned earlier that I took note here: learn, test, fail, see the results.
Exactly. This is again. Yeah, exactly.
Great.
I have a question, please.
Yeah.
Yes.
This is to Miss Valeria. Since we all agree about e-marketing, that this is today the only solution. So we are talking about advantages. What about disadvantages?
Okay, now there are also many disadvantages. Sometimes, like Asaid was saying, it's regarding the burnout phase, the burnout part. It gets so much on. It requires a lot of effort, and you always have to be up to date with everything. You always have to know what is everyone talking about, what are the trends, what's going on, and it can get tiring. As an individual who is working in the social media or in the digital marketing field. As a business also, the disadvantage is sometimes that you can still have an audience that does not find digital marketing yet reliable. They probably may not find that the ads or that the posts or that the content that they are seeing on the digital marketing channels, as they do not consider it credible. So they think that this is some kind of a scheme or some kind of a fraud, just like everyone else. So they just have this reputation regarding digital marketing. So the challenge is kind of positioning yourself and putting yourself as a reputable business, and you have to build your brand. And probably one of the things that we can compare it with traditional marketing. So yes, that is true. We were talking about that digital is more effective in reaching out to one-to-one audience. But it can actually take some time to reach the exact amount of people that you can reach within one TV ad. So this is a disadvantage that I'll have to admit. This is true, but still, I think that the advantages outweigh the disadvantages.
Okay, thank you.
We have a question here from Simon. He says, I believe that storytelling is really inspiring in order to empathize and meeting on an emotional level. What are your thoughts about this? He would like to get your opinion, Said or Valeria or both.
Valeria, if you want to go or...
Sure. Yes. As a brand, I'd like both of us to share the opinions. Like, I'd like to talk a little bit more from the business perspective, and I'd also like to have your opinion as an individual. From the business perspective, sometimes we tend to think that businesses, they have no personality, or it's just like there's this corporate image, or this is this high competition, high intensity of things that they forget that all businesses also have a story, because the business is built by people. So whenever those people, they share their stories, they share how did they create this idea of this business? How did they come up with this this whole business process with the business model? What made them choose this product and not this one? How much effort are they putting in their job? How much effort are they putting in this business? And when they start sharing also behind the scenes and how they're working on it, and all of this whole story, whenever they share it to the audience, it can create a very interesting impact, because consumers nowadays, and we as people, what we really care about is the emotions, it's the story behind everything, and not the final product. Not that anymore.
Yes, and I confirm with everything Valeria said about storytelling, how important it is. And I think that storytelling is such an important tool because, everything in life is a story. And when was the last time each of us took the time to really sit and listen and share stories with someone else? I think each of us it's been a long time since we shared stories. So, and when you share stories, this is how, in the comment was said, we connect on an emotional level with the person. And this is why, for example, on my YouTube channel or on my Instagram, I always tend to share stories from my personal life rather than just sharing lessons, telling people this is what you should do. I tell them through stories about what happened with me, because this is, I think, how you can really reach the other person and engage with them in a better way.
Great.
And I'd also like to add just one simple thing to that regarding the stories. It's also good to share the bad part of your day, because we'd have to be real. Yes, we have to be real. Not everything goes so perfect, and not this whole life that we're sharing on social media. We tend to think that everyone is going on in a very nice way, and everything have got their things together. Like, what is wrong with me? And that's also that's a part because no one is sharing the bad part. So once we start sharing the bad part, people can actually relate more to us, and this can give us an advantage as well.
Very true.
Yeah, it's not always with red carpet.
Yeah.
No, of course not. Of course not.
Mr. Saeed, I have for you a question from Joyce Haddad from Lebanon. Since you are talking about optimism, what about, she's asking, what about of coming to Lebanon and and encourage Lebanese people to be optimistic as well and to settle down in Lebanon?
And this is something I can tell you from now. I will come back to Lebanon. This is something for sure, because since the day I left Lebanon, I had taken an oath, if you want, anyway, that I will come back. So I will surely come back to Lebanon. And but for the time being, through the events I am doing, through my social media, I'm trying to. I have lots of contacts in Lebanon, people from Lebanon who join my Internations event. I try as much as possible to give them of all the positivity and that I have been talking about. And I know that also in Lebanon, there are lots of people present in the country now that are talking about these subjects, and that many of them were teachers for me who helped me make this move. But I will surely come back to Lebanon one day and do as Joyce asked. This is for sure.
There is always a hope. You are right.
Look, as you said before, all bad days have an end. So
yes. Thank you.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you, everyone, so much. Time has come for us to close this webinar. I want to highlight 2 lines from each one of you. I took some notes, and I want to highlight these notes as we close. From Valeria, the first of these 2 lines is that we need to attend webinars and try to connect and to network with people that are like-minded to us. And number 2, we need to attract our targeted customers through a well-developed social media and digital marketing strategy, and in this way engage with our customers. And from Saeed, I took note of, or I will highlight these 2 lines. First, that crisis can be considered as an opportunity. And secondly, that all it takes in this process of reinventing ourselves is to have a leap of faith. So I totally agree with you, and I want to thank you, Valeria and Saeed, for taking the time to share with us, to prepare these presentations. We want to thank you from the bottom of our hearts, from Middle East University, and on behalf of all the audience. You can read here many comments of gratitude that they are writing here to you. They are very thankful for the content and the delivery of the webinar tonight. Thank you so much, Valeria and Saeed, and also thank you so much, Dr. Johnny and Daniel, for accepting to be the co-hosts tonight. Any final word from each one of you?
I'd just like to thank everyone for attending. It was a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Thank you, Valeria.
Same thing for me. It was a big pleasure. And as I said before, if anyone wants to connect with me on Facebook to get advice, to discuss any subject, it would be a big pleasure. Do not hesitate.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for attending and for participating. I want to wish you a good evening or good day, wherever you are in the world, and see you next webinar.
See you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.